Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to NPTEL live session. We are going to have a quick discussion regarding the lectures that have been covered in week 6 and correspondingly some examples, more or less similar to what you have been asked in your assignments. So that we would be taking up at the end of the live session. So if you have any doubt regarding whatever we have discussed so far in 5 weeks of time, so that you can just put the question across the chat box or you can unmute yourself and ask me straight away. And if not, so shortly we will be starting up with today's discussion, which would be today's discussion would all about metathesis reaction. Lastly, we have discussed some other metathesis types. So today we will be taking up some left metathesis, alkene metathesis, and mainly we'll be focusing on the alkyne metathesis today. So yeah, within 3 to 4 minutes, we can start our discussion. So as I was mentioning earlier, that so far we have taken a lot of examples of different types of metathesis. What we are left with in alkene metathesis is your ring closing metathesis with different types. The subpart of it is asymmetric ring closing metathesis. Asymmetric means we are talking about the chiral molecules. Then tendon cross metathesis, how the dimer and trimer kind of products would be obtained. Further, the last part of the metathesis is ring opening, ring closing metathesis. So simultaneously, we'll be having both the processes in uh, one kind of substrates. And last topic, which would be covering some more examples from alkyne metathesis. This would be involving both ene, or you can have that only ine and ine metathesis. That means a combination of alkene and alkyne, how they combine, or one alkyne is combining with other alkyne. So this we have just read in during the introduction part of our sessions, but here we will take up in full details. And lastly, some assignment problems that we are going to discuss that would help you to solve the assignments which are being uploaded onto the portal. So if you feel any uh, confusion or query is arise from your end, I would be happy to answer it. You can just put the question in the chat box or you can unmute yourself and ask. So let's start with our first topic, which is your closing metathesis. So closing itself defines the meaning that something which is open and we are going to close it and make it a ring form. So if I'll take this example, so here if you will see, there are two possibilities with which we can close our groups. Say for example, just to tell you, if I'm going to talk about this particular group which is highlighted here, this alkene and this alkene, same groups are on the other side. The ones which are dotted in white, if they are going to undergo metathesis, that would give you one type of product. Or if I am having combination of these two highlighted in blue in metathesis, that would give you another type of compound depending on what is your R group. So if your R group is hydrogen, it is not a bulky group, it is just a hydrogen. So keeping that thing in mind, there would be less ring strain, and these white dotted ones, they would undergo metathesis. This is simply a cross metathesis reaction where the two alkenes would form a new alkene and the side product would be your CH2 and CH2. So if you will just see here, those who have not attended the previous lectures, I'm just trying to make you understand. If this dot and this star is combined, these two, CH2 and CH2, will combine to give you a side product, which is, if I'll just make this one, where this was a dot CH and this was a star CH, and the other metathesis product would be your, this is also your CH2. So this and this would give you a CH2, CH2. This is alkene, ethylene, and the other twos will combine to form a double bond, and the rest moiety would remain as it is. This was having your R group. Similar thing will happen on the other side. I'll just remove this. Okay, similar thing will happen on the other side. So if you'll see, this is 1, 2, this would form 3, 4, 5. So considering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So here also we will be having a 6-membered ring. And if I'll just name it 4, 3, 2, and 1. The double bond which we are going to expect is between 3 and 4. So this would be like this way. And here the side product would again be CH2 and CH2, which is 2 molecules of your ethylene. I hope this is clear how the metathesis is happening when we are having an R group as hydrogen only, and they would combine to give you a cyclic 6-membered ring, which was earlier an open ring. So these are acyclic tetraenes. So if this is clear, then we can go to another point, which is if your R is some alkyl group or any bulky group, then it would tend to form, because of the strain, it would tend to combine these blue dotted things and rather than having this white dotted things. So how it will combine, just show it in other. So now if we have this, it is very important to understand which alkene is going to give you the major product when the substitution changes. So earlier we saw these two getting combined. Now we are going to combine the above ones. So I'll just show you how this and this combines. If you will just mark over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is CH2. This CH2 would give you CH2 as side product. Similarly here also these two will going to give you an ethylene molecule. So that's why I've written 2 times. And now if you will combine, keeping N as it is, and it is going to form 5-membered ring. We'll just make a 5-membered ring. Nitrogen is attached with carbon number 3, which is attached with 4. It is attached with 5. This 5 is going to come and connect with your 1, and it is connected with 2. Similarly, if I'll just mark here, it would be your 1 dash, 2 dash, 3 dash, 4 dash, 5 dash. So above also we will be having a 5-membered ring. So now how nitrogen is connected to your 3 dash, 2 dash, 1 dash. 1 dash is connected with 5 because these two will go and connect with each other. This is your 5 dash, and 5, just a second. Okay, this is your 2, 1. This is your 5 dash, and this one is your 4, and 4 dash is having a double bonded O group, and 1 and 5 dash, 1 dash and 5 dash, when they will combine, they would be having a double bond over there. The mechanism of these kind of metathesis, which is the simplest metathesis that has already been explained in previous session, I would request if anybody is not able to understand, please go back and check how the mechanism takes place. So this is the product, which is nothing but your N-cyclopentyl gamma lactams. So this would be formed as a major product if your R is any alkyl group, whereas if you're having a group R equals to H, then this is your major product, which is nothing but a bicyclic delta lactam. Because this is a bicyclic group and other one is a N-cyclopentyl kind of lactams. So this is where we can selectively tell us which one is going to be the major product, depending upon what R substituent is there. And this kind of metathesis is known as ring closing metathesis, because here we are closing the two double bonds over here. I hope this is clear. We can take another example to make it more understandable. The next example that we can have is these are the protecting groups. Now, so if you will see carefully, here we are having an orientation where the two alkenes are very close to each other. And if these two are very close to each other, they would combine together to form a product. And the product that we will be ending up having It's a double bond. Here is OMe. And there was a protecting group. So here you can see if I'll mark it as a dot and here this as a star, the side product would be your CH2 double bond CH2 and this ring has been closed. So this is your macrocyclic product. And that's why this kind of product is favorable and it would be formed as a major product because if any other possibility or orientation is there, that would lead to a ring strain. For example, if we are going to connect these two, these which are highlighted in yellow, if these two combine together, they would end up having a 5-membered ring. If you'll just try it by your own, that would be having ring strain and that is unfavorable. How it would be 5-membered ring? Say this is 1, 2, the other part would be open up. So depending upon which part you want to get connected with, 3, 4, and this oxygen as a 5 over there. So if it would be forming a 5-membered ring, that would be having the strain over this macrocyclic. You know that macrocyclic products are stable enough. So that's why this is more favorable and this orientation is favorable and not this one. So these kind of questions with the rejuve selectivity could be asked in the question, and this comes under your ring closing metathesis. Now moving ahead, so we have covered the first topic where we have taken the examples of 2 examples where we have explained how the ring closing metathesis happens, and then we have and here also we saw that how the major product changes when R group is changed. And if there is a comparison between a strained ring formation and a macrocyclic or a stable ring formation, always prefer to form a macrocyclic because that would be a thermodynamical favorable step compared to the other one. Now we are going to talk about our second topic, which is asymmetric ring closing metathesis. Asymmetric deals with your chirality. And those who don't know the chirality, if in simple terms, if a carbon is having all the groups different, this is X, this is Y, this is Z, and that is proton. X is not equals to Y, not equals to Z, that is chiral. Or if a system is not having a mirror plane or invergent center, those who know about the group theory, that means it should not be having a plane of reflection that would give an exactly equal half, and it should not be having an invergent center. That means if it is starting from this, it should not give you same product on left and right side. So that is called as invergent center. So these points should be absent when we are talking about a chirality. Whereas in ring closing metathesis, that is not our point of concern. Our concern is, say for example, I'm starting with this alkene system. So here I am having methyl, this is methyl, one methyl, and this one. So in presence of molybdenum catalyst, which is having a bulky amide system. So this is a 2,6-diisopropyl amide actually. This is a metal carbene, which is again having a bulky group. These kind of structures also we have looked up in previous lectures, so we are not going to take up in today's lecture in full details. so on and so forth. This would be having a kind of bulky groups. So this is your catalyst, molybdenum metal carbene catalyst, because you know the metathesis reactions are being carried in presence of the metal carbene catalyst. So this has been reported by Oveda, and in 2001, the reaction conditions were, it was a neat reaction without the presence of any solvent, and 22 degrees closer to the room temperature, and 5 minutes of, this was just a 5 minutes of reaction. Here we have now see two possibilities when there are two types of systems. See, these two alkenes can go, this is the first possibility which can undergo the metathesis, RCM. Okay, the highlighting point is, if you see over here, there is no chiral center, but if you will see, if I have made where I don't know what could be the uh, direction or what kind of orientation it is going to take. So either the catalyst has to be chiral or your substrate would be chiral, which would end up to give you the chiral molecule. So here the other possibility is combination of these two. So this is second type which can be obtained. So let's look into the first type. If we have a first possibility, so if I'm not writing the full molecule, I'm just taking the this part where which has to be highlighted. Let's not confuse you more. So we are going to combine these two. So the one which has been dotted and those which have been star marked. So these star marked is going to combine and form a double bond, and the dotted one would give you a, so this star marked carbons, they would be forming. If you find it difficult to make and to identify where the bond is going to happen, try to name it. Say, for example, I'm naming this. This is 1, 2, 3. I know that these three have to be combined and 4 and 5 has to be taken out. So 4 and 5 would give you a methyl and methyl product. This is out, and only the 2 and 3 would be having a double bond, which is having other part as it is. Here it was oxygen, and this was a group. So this is the first possibility. Second possibility is this group combines with this one. So here, if you will carefully see, I'll draw it one more time. It's better to keep it in this orientation to make you more comfortable with the way it is going to be forming. So if you'll see over here, so this is your, sorry, there is another carbon. If you will see here, if I'm marking it as 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5. So this and this is going to combine to give you 5-membered ring, and group A, this CH2 and this CB, they would give you a rod. So we'll quickly make a 5-membered ring having oxygen inside, oxygen 3, 2, 1. This is 4 and this is 5. 4 and 5, 1 and 5 are going to, sorry, 1 and 5 are going to have a double bond. And if you will see, 4 was having the group which is having methyl and methyl. And if you will see over here, this group is actually becomes a chiral group where all the moieties One is connected to the oxygen, other carbon is connected to the double bonded carbon. The third moiety is your some alkene, and fourth is, so this center is your chiral, and therefore it is a asymmetric synthesis. And the side product would be your A and B combination, where A is just a CH2 group and B is having a methyl and methyl. If I'll write it properly, it is CH2, C, methyl and methyl, which is A and B. And out of the two, if you will be asked that comparative to the first possibility where it has been formed a three-membered ring, and here if we are looking at it's a five-membered ring, more the number of the rings comparatively, six-membered ring is more favorable compared to the five-membered. Similarly, three-membered ring over here, it is having more strain. So that's why this possibility is not observed. Only the possibility which is second, which is giving you a more stable ring, that is your product. So this is the only possibility of product formation which you will be having. So we have how we are going to see the reactions. We will be making up the possible products wherever we could see the possibility of two alkenes to undergo metathesis, and followed by that, we will see the product stability. If the product is not stable, that product either would be formed in minor or traces, or at all it won't be observed. The way we saw in previous reactions, comparative to macrocyclic compound formation, the five-membered is more strained. So that's why the major product would be your macrocyclic one. Similarly here, the five-membered ring followed by the alkene over here, it is more stabilized compared to the three-membered ring, and therefore we could see the uh, product as the chiral product. I hope this is clear that we have seen the chiral product formation comparative to have two particular. This is called a regioselective reaction where you have two regions to form a product, but you will selectively take one particular as a major product or exclusive product. So another example we can take, which would again lead to the achiral synthesis. So we are having a phenyl ring with bromine as substituent, and here we are having nitrogen, which is an amide system, and this nitrogen is having these alkenes, which are acyclic alkenes, and one more. Okay, so now we are going to form only either these two or these two would be, because this and this, they are very far apart to make a particular moiety. So if you will just see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. If I'll go this way, 1, A, B, C, D, E, and F. This side also, if you will form these two moieties, this moiety and this moiety, that would give you a six-membered ring. Similarly, if we are going this side, this alkene and this alkene, that is also going to give you a six-membered ring. So both ways we are going to form the similar ring, and one only would be the exclusive product, and the product would be the bromine is as it is with your NH group, and this NH group would now be coming under your, this becomes your chiral, because here the groups are different. This would form a double bond, and this is your methyl. So if I'm combining these two, this would come as your chiral group at this side, because the carbon is having different substrate. This carbon is connected to this particular alkyl group, and this nitrogen, one side is different, other side is different. So this become a chiral center. Similarly, this is your chiral center, which is connected to different parts. So therefore, we could get a asymmetric product on ring closing metathesis. You can try both the ways. You will end up having the same product because this group and this group is similar. So it would tend to give you a same kind of product which has been formed over here. I hope this part is also covered. So here we have talked about the asymmetric ring closing metathesis where the chiral product would be forming. And if you have the possibility of combining two alkenes in different ways, sorry, just a second. So here we saw if we have a different parts of alkene over there, we would be ending up having different possibilities. But then we will look at the product stability and compare to the 3-membered ring, the 5-membered ring is more stable. So we are going with the second possibility. Similarly, the second example where we can have this particular alkene, if it is combined with these green ones, these two are combined, that would tend to give you a 6-membered ring, which is a chiral. And similarly, if this side it would go and combine, this and this can't combine because they are having a distance between them. So the combination becomes difficult. Whereas if this and this combines, this also tends to give you a same kind of group. If you want me to explain it further, how it is being formed, we can just see bit quickly. I'll just draw the nitrogen part over here. The rest is similar. So we are having this double bond and one. Similarly, it would be having. So what my concern was, if it is 1, 2, 3, this is 4, 5, and 6, right? So if you are not considering this, if you'll take 1, 2, 3, 4, this 5 and 6, that also will give you the same. Now this 3 and 4 will combine to give you one bond, and the rest product would be your CH2 and CH2 that we are just writing it here. So this is dot, this is star. I'm just trying to make it more clear to you. So we will be having 3 and 4 with a double bond, and 3 is having a methyl group over here, then followed by 2, then nitrogen, then this carbon, which is having nitrogen and the other group. So this becomes the chiral position. Here it is 6, and there is 5. 5 is combined with your 4. That means it's a kind of this molecule which we have just formed, and which is giving your NH and that other part. So this was the only product that we were looking here. So I've just shown you how the mechanism is happening, how you have to look to two alkene bonds that are going to undergo the metathesis. If you will try with this part also, you will ending up having the same product. I hope this is clear. The way we have formed it, I have not drawn the complete structure over here. So you can just try by yourself and find out whether you're able to get the same product or not. So this meeting would be ending up in next 7 minutes. I would request you all to rejoin the same link for the further discussion. So, okay. So now we can see the other part, which is third part is your tandem cross metathesis reaction. If there is any doubt, whatever I have taught till now, please feel free to put your question across, or please unmute yourself if you have any further doubt before moving ahead. Otherwise, you will be finding it difficult to understand because the complexity in the topics would be increasing at the passage of time. So it would be useful for you if you could ask and get your doubts clear at the earliest as possible. So this is again a cross metathesis ring closing mechanism where it would be a tandem cross metathesis. The dimerization and trimerization would be happening over here. So if I am having this kind of alkene, so what we would be thinking of combining this one and this one with each other. So these are actually the acrylate esters. So if I'm taking two units of it or 3 units of it, it would be ending up having the dimer product. This is your dimer. The same unit is undergoing this reaction. Plus, it could be forming your trimer also. 3 units combining to give. So this is your trimer. So tandem reactions would ended up having a dimer and trimer product. So the highlighting point over here is that the ratio of your dimer and trimer products is highly dependent on the concentration of your substrate. For example, higher concentration of your substrate will favor trimer formation. Say, for example, if I am having 1 millimolar substrate concentration, it would give me dimer is to trimer 1 is to 1. And if I am having 6 molar, then trimer product is the only product being formed. So this is where the concentration is the highlighting feature of your uh, having different ratios of the dimer trimer product. So this is the important factor in the tandem reaction. And the mechanism says that firstly, the substrate, 2 units of the substrate that undergoes cross metathesis, that means forming a new alkene. And then after that, dimerization happens. This dimerization then would lead to ring closing metathesis. These are the steps that have been followed to form that final product to give a macrocyclic product. This you can try to work out by yourself. So step 1 would be 2 units of the substrate, which we have seen over here. These two units would combine together, or 3 units comparatively. They would combine together to give you a cross metathesis product. And then the second step would be dimerization of that product. And third would be the ring closing to give you the final product as microcyclic. And final product, it has to be dimer or trimer. Depending upon the concentration of the substrate, if it is less, then it would be forming, even if it is lesser than 1 millimolar, then dimer would be major and trimer would be the minimum. If it is 1 molar, comparatively, we are talking about the relative studies. So if it is 6 millimolar, then only the trimer would be found. And if it is in between the two, then there would be a specific ratio. These are the relative concentrations. We are not giving you the exact concentrations over here. So these are the relative concentrations. So, so I would end up this meeting over here. Please rejoin the same link to avoid any disconnection. Then we'll continue.